Salon and Day Spa, located at 41 West Main Street in Northeast Pennsylvania, proudly supports Chautauqua Sunrise and its volunteers. More information at bellasalonanddayspa.net. Westfield Memorial Hospital provides high-quality health care to residents of Western New York, offering patients the most sophisticated medical advancements while keeping the ease and familiarity of a community hospital. Support for Chautauqua Sunrise has been provided by WRFA 107.9 FM, Jamestown's public radio station, streaming online 24/7 at WRFALP.com. Low power to the people. Chautauqua Sunrise is made possible by a grant from Fredonia Place, a continuing care retirement community providing dignity in a modern luxury environment. Meter's Restaurant, a family tradition for over 50 years in downtown Ripley, is a proud supporter of Chautauqua Sunrise. Meter's provides all-day dining, banquet services, and custom catering, specializing in pie. From the Access Chautauqua Studios in Mayville, it's Chautauqua Sunrise. Chautauqua Sunrise is hosted by Doc Hamels and supported by the award-winning volunteers at Access Chautauqua. We are here to share local news, colorful interviews, and events of interest to everyone. Chautauqua Sunrise is broadcast live Saturday mornings each week from 9 to 10 a.m. Send events via email or call us live. Check us out on YouTube and Facebook. And now, from the Access Chautauqua Studios, it's Chautauqua Sunrise.
Good morning, everybody. I see I got the same shirt on as I did in the promo. Wow, I couldn't do that again. They didn't tell me they were changing up the pictures. Well, good morning and welcome to Chautauqua Sunrise. To all of you that are watching us live today, we're going to be featuring a couple folks here from Chautauqua County, so stay tuned. A lot of things to talk about. And for those of you that are listening, Tuesdays at 1 o'clock on WRFA 107.9, low power to the people. Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us here in Jamestown. Glad to have you. All right, boy, we still have a lot of summer left. About half the summer is gone, but we still got plenty of summer to do a lot of cool things here in Chautauqua County. I say this every week, and I'll keep saying it until they take me off the air. There is so much going on in this county all the time. If you're bored, shame on you. Just pick up the paper, listen to what I'm going to be talking about in a little while. Listen to radio. There's things going on all over the place. There's music festivals. There are farmers markets. There's the National Comedy Center was just here. They're having all kinds of things going on. There's fairs around us, and just you name it. The wineries are on fire right now. They're everywhere is going on, and of course, enjoying our lakes and all the good stuff here in Chautauqua County. So please make sure that you check things out. For those of you that are visiting at Chautauqua Institution or anywhere else in the county, welcome to our county. Hope you're enjoying yourselves and enjoy the rest of the show. If you can't watch the entire show, remember we're also on channel 1301 at 2 and 8 every day right here on Access Chautauqua. All right, a couple things I want to share with you real quick. If you have an announcement or you have something you want to share or have a question for one of my guests, give us a call live, 753-5225. If you are shy, you can call and ask the question, and then Jeff will tell me that question in my ear, or they'll send it on a piece of paper and we'll get it on the air for you. All right, so it's free of charge. Happy to do it. Also want to mention that next week, the crew and I were all on vacation, so we are going to have for you a great show that we pre-taped earlier this month. And I will tell you already that it's a musical show. Deco Ensemble, 3 extremely talented saxophonists, I think that's the correct term, are going to be entertaining you. And I sat here that whole time, and I'll tell you, it was fabulous. So please do check in next week. The following week, I won't be able to be here, but my good friend Randy Burt will be covering my spot as host, and we are going to have John Swabick, who was here trying out to be a USA Olympian champion, and he will be returning as silver level champion. He won the silver award for the USA Decathlon. So John and his family, and hopefully his coach, will be here in 2 weeks, and Randy Burt will be host. One quick note, on a personal note, is that today, Will Russell and I will be over in Westfield in about 2 hours, and we'll be playing music at the Westfield Farmers and Artisans Market. And if you haven't been to that market, I'm telling you right now, it's one of the best in the area. I kid Nancy Scrivens over there. I tell her, I said, this is getting as big as the Arts Festival. I think they were well over 40 vendors there now. And I remember when it started out with, like 3 or 4. And but there's everything there: food, there's gifts, there's handmade things, baked goods, and so forth, and stuff I can't even remember what's all there. It's just really a great thing. So that's another place that you could visit. And I think they're open till 2 o'clock every Saturday from about 8 to 2. And but Will and I will be in the gazebo, so come on over and say hi. All right, right now I have a pleasure to introduce to you someone that was suggested to come on the show by my friend Sue Crawford, who's the head of the Westfield Barcelona Chamber of Commerce, and she said, we got to get this information out there. So somehow or another, Tom Tarpley got convinced to come on the show. So Tom, good morning. I'll swing around here and have a little chat with you. Tom, you are the spokesperson for the Westfield Fire Department. Is that true?
Good morning, Doc. Yes, I am.
Okay. So why was it so important for Sue to get you on the air today?
Okay, so a couple of years ago, the community of Westfield wanted to honor its first responders. So over the course of the past 2 years, they have worked towards building a permanent tribute to our first responders, which is going to be prominently on Portage Street in Westfield. We're in the final stages. Construction has begun, and we're in the final stages of putting that together. There'll be a dedication ceremony next month for the tribute. Be held on Saturday, September 7th at 2 p.m. And we are still trying to get funding, collect funds for the project. So we're here today to talk about the tribute and also to ask for continued support to fund it.
How much money have you raised so far?
So far we're about halfway through our goals. We've raised about $18,000.
Okay.
We're looking to try to raise between $35,000 up to $50,000 because ultimately too, the tribute is going to be outside in the elements. It's going to need work over the years. We want to be able to maintain it. So we'd like to have a fund available for maintenance.
Okay, we just popped up the picture. Thanks, Jeff. So Tom, talk to us where this is exactly and what will people be seeing with, I see there's a sign there that shows what the rendition would look like.
Sure, Doc. So the sign is actually at the site. Again, this is the old where the Portage Inn stood on Portage Street.
So across from Larry's.
Across from Larry's, right by Route 20 or Main Street in Westfield.
Right.
And the reason that the location was selected here, this was actually the first location where the original Westfield Police and Fire Departments were housed.
I did not know that.
Yes, so that's a little piece of history. So that's why the committee chose this location. Also, it is obviously on Portage Street, which is the exit off of the New York State Thruway, and we wanted a prominent location where everybody would see this on a daily basis and be able to give thanks to our first responders.
Okay, so around that area looks relatively flat. So you're near the street, I'm assuming. And so what are the plans? What's going to look like? Do you have an idea?
Okay, yes. So it will be right off of the street. There will be the main part of the tribute is a large obelisk, and that obelisk has been donated. The stone for that obelisk has been donated by Coronado Stone of Westfield.
So sort of like the Washington Monument.
Correct.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And then there will be the flags of the American flag. There will be a law enforcement flag. There will be a fire department flag. There will be a bell on top of the obelisk. There will be some plaques that will have the prayers for the law enforcement prayer and the fire department prayer. And at the base or on the ground of the obelisk is going to be, we are in the process of selling bricks. And there's 2 size bricks that we've obtained from Chautauqua Brick. And you can have either 2 lines or 3 lines. And we're hoping that people will buy those bricks to help fund the project. And we will have etchings done on that. If you have a first responder in your family that you want to, thank them or in memory of them, you can purchase a brick, and we'll etch those and put those on the ground.
Okay, and the costs for those?
So the cost for the smaller brick is $50, and for the larger brick is $100. And again, the smaller brick you get 2 lines, and the larger brick you'll get 3 lines.
Okay, and if somebody is interested to donate or buy a brick, how should they get a hold of you?
Okay, so there's about 3 different ways that you can get a hold of us. In the lobby of Eason Hall in Westfield, which is on Elm Street, and that's where the village and town offices are located,
Okay.
we have a mock display in the lobby. And in that lobby, we have we put together a brochure for the project.
Can we zoom in on that, Justin?
And in the brochure, it explains and gives a description of the project, but there's also a form in there where you can fill out, and you can, if you want to just donate, or if you want an actual brick, you can put all the information in there and then send that in. Fortunately, Northern Chautauqua Community Foundation is handling, taking in all of the money
Good. Okay.
and handling all that. They've been heavily involved, and we're grateful for their support. So you can. If you don't have a computer, you can go in old-fashioned and get this out of the Eason Hall lobby and submit that. Also, for Facebook folks, we have a Facebook page, and that is the Westfield First Responders Tribute. You search that, and once you get on that Facebook page, all of the information is on there. You can donate online. And then last but not least, if you do want to go to the Northern Chautauqua Community Foundation website, there's also a link on there that you can donate through them directly as well.
Hold that brochure one more time, because I think what it does for us is it actually shows everything you just talked about. So for those that are listening right now, it's a circle around the little obelisk, and I'm assuming the obelisk, according to what I'm looking at, looks like it's going to be about 10 feet or so high.
Yeah, I believe it's 8 feet or a little bit taller. Then, of course, the bell will be on top
Right,
of that.
well, that's where it goes, 10 foot. And then you have your 3 flags around that, and a little bit of a walkway, sort of like a key kind of a shape there.
Yeah,
Very
we
nice.
wanted to give people, obviously, to walk around it, because there will be plaques on there. Also, we are going to install some benches, so if people want to, sit there. There are plans for this this
Very
area,
nice.
so it'll be a spot for people to kind of reflect and pay tribute.
Now, maybe you do know this, or you may not. Is this going to be part of the Rails to Trails?
This not specifically, but it is going to be in the same area as the Rails to Trails. There are plans for that entire area that are in progress. So if you are, once the Rails to Trails goes in, this will be pretty much the center of it.
Okay,
Yes,
super. Well, Tom, is there a phone number anybody can use to contact?
We don't have a phone number, but if you do have any questions at all, you can always stop by either the Westfield Police Department or Fire Department or the Village Hall. And anybody there, everybody's heavily involved in this in Westfield, so anybody will be able to answer your questions. For
Okay,
you.
folks, that's Tom Tarpley representing the Westfield Fire Department. You're a spokesperson, Tom. Thanks for dropping by today, and keep us posted, okay?
Thank you, Doc. Have a great day.
Absolutely. All right, folks, there you have it. So if you're interested in donating, make sure you get over to Eason Hall and find out that information. All right, well, let's go on to some announcements here for what's going on here in Chautauqua County. Ooh, that's a funny angle. Hello, to the side of my head here. All right, hang on a second. All right, so as you all know, there we go. I'm back on my normal shot. I'm not used to seeing myself on this side there. All right, so we're going to go to Jamestown right off the bat. Let me put on my specs here, and we'll get right to it. Infinity's got a lot of stuff going on. All right, let's start right off the bat with the first slide. Infinity Visual and Performing Arts welcomes new instructors. All right. First person is Jim Bloomquist, sound, audio, and digital recording and production. And Vince Luizo, he's in the art department. They both have joined the Infinity Group. Jim is currently offering private and group instruction in sound, audio, and digital production, and Vince is offering private art lessons. I tell you, having a good sound man is really important when you're a musician. All right, so let's talk a little bit about Jim real quick. Jim was born and raised in Jamestown, began his musical career as a DJ, playing at clubs and events throughout western New York and northern Pennsylvania. This eventually led to an interest in the production and recording fields, primarily within the hip-hop and R&B genres. In 1998, he was hired as a tour DJ musicals support specialist and worked closely with various hip-hop and R&B recording artists from Interscope, Motown, Island, Def Jam, and Sony Records. Wow. For the next 4 years, Jim was fortunate enough to tour the world, performing in such places as Germany, Africa, Jamaica, and the Bahamas. Tough gigs there, as well as many locations in the U.S. and Canada. Jim is proficient with various digital audio workstations such as Avid, Pro Tools, Apple Logic, and most recently Ableton Live, which he uses for all current productions. He enjoys teaching the production techniques he has learned throughout the years, and as well as sharing his knowledge of hip-hop history. All right, then Vince, you see in the lower part there, it looks like he's carving something. Vince, the tree guy, is a certified arborist. There's a new word for everybody, arborist. Chainsaw carver and longtime friend of Infinity and the Jamestown community. An active partner and fundraiser, Vince and company at Sherwood Arts have raised thousands of dollars for local charities and community organizations through events and chainsaw carving raffles since 2017. Vince is a partner of Tactical Tree Solutions, your friendly neighborhood tree guys. I think that's advertisement. Uses the byproduct of trees removed to create one-of-a-kind made-to-order chainsaw carvings. Boy, I'll tell you, I've seen some of these guys live doing these things. It's pretty spectacular. Vince incorporates his love of nature into subjects of his creations and enjoys working with various media, including oil and acrylic, charcoal, and incorporates fundamentals such as color theory, composition, figure, and gesture, and 3D sculpture into his classes and lessons at Infinity. Vince's unique background and approach creates an exciting environment for students where whimsy and creativity are the driving factors for students. Hey, if you're interested in working with these guys, give them a call at 664-0991 at Infinity. All right, let's keep moving. This is something new. I don't think I've heard this one before. Herron Farm and Event Center is going to have a special event. It's going to soon be filled with sounds of music, happy campers, and trail runners in the inaugural Herron Trail Run event to take place on Sunday, August 18th, so that would be next week. Julie and Steve Rockcastles, owners of the Herron, shared the following. We are pleased to be hosting the 5K Trail Run and Walk with Infinity for multiple reasons. For one, we love Infinity and we are excited to have found another way to collaborate with them. Secondly, we have great trails through our woodlands and farm pastures that will be challenging for runners and super fun for walkers. Participants will be able to run or walk on the beautiful trails that grace the Herron grounds, home of the Great Blue Heron Music Festival and the Green Heron Growers. The 5K Run Walk registration for this event is $25. Camping, meals, music, and bonfire are also available to enjoy. This event is sanctioned by the USATF. Don't know what that means, but it sounds important. And all donations from this event will support music and arts at the Infinity Center in Jamestown. Shane Hawkins, many of you know, she's the executive at Infinity, says, music is a unifier for all people, and as a nonprofit organization, we're always eager to try new fundraising ideas. Julie and the Great Blue Heron folks have always been generous in their support of the Infinity program since its inception. We are grateful for their invitation for Infinity to be part of this event and are excited to share the day with everyone. Again, for more information, give them a call at 664-0991 at Infinity. They'll tell you more. And then a couple more things from Infinity. I mentioned this last week. They have these things called Arts Explorers Camp. And there's going to be one from August 19th through Friday the 23rd. Participants will create unique art, make music, act in a video, meet new friends, and explore creativity in 5 amazing days. Again, for more information, if you're interested, this is for kiddos from 6 to 12 years old. Give them a call at 664-0991. And then last one for Infinity, mark your calendars one more time. It's coming up fast. The annual local music showcase, September 7th. It runs from 6 to 2 in the morning, and this is where you get one money, you get a wristband, and you visit about 10 different venues listening to musicians who donated their time all over Jamestown. It's a great night. I've played it a number of times, and it's a lot of fun. Okay, moving right along. Let's go to Celeron. The Swamp down there over on Jones and Gifford Road cordially invites you for their first annual fundraiser for the Salvation Army Anew Center. They're offering chicken dinners. Tickets are only $10 per person. There's going to be a Chinese auction, and tickets are sold right there on location. And it's going to be held today from 2 to 9 p.m. At 250 Jones and Gifford. They say Jamestown. I always call it Celeron, but it's down right in that neck of the woods. And so, if you're interested, give them a look this afternoon from 2 to 9 at the Swamp. Okay, moving along. This just came in yesterday, I think it was. The 45th, this is hard to believe, the 45th annual spaghetti dinner at the Mayville Chautauqua Lions Club is going to be held at St. Mary's Church at East Chautauqua Street in Mayville, and that's going to be held this Wednesday, August 14th, from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. or until sold. Parking is behind the church. Tickets are $8 for adults, $6 for children, $6 for children 12 and under. Takeouts are available. There will be a Chinese auction, and all proceeds benefit the great work that the Lions do for their community project here in Chautauqua County. All right, a couple more things to tell you about. This week coming up, the Jamestown Cruise-In. Once again this year, the Jamestown Community Chamber of Commerce presents Cruise-In in downtown Jamestown from 5 to 10 p.m. Friday, August 16th. The fun annual event is a great time for the whole family. Stroll through Jamestown, view hundreds of vintage and special autos, enjoy live music by the in-crowd, and visit our local businesses and street vendors. Jamestown Cruise-In is sponsored by Ulstrom Schaefer Electric, the Elegant Edibles Catering, 5-Star Bank, and the Jamestown Renaissance Corporation. For more information, just go to chautauquachamber.org, and it has all kinds of information there for you. Friday. Okay, two more, and last one. This is it. All right, let me make sure. No, there's one more. All right, this is a long one. Okay, slide 20, Jeff. August 21st, presentation in Dunkirk to focus on Brooks Locomotive Works. So this is my first time running through this, so let's see if we can get through it real quick. Chautauqua County Historical Society's annual picnic will be in Dunkirk on August 21 at Point Gratiot Park. The event will also feature a lecture by local historians Roy Davis and Roger Schulenberg, focusing on the 150th anniversary of the opening of Brooks Locomotive Works. The Brooks Locomotive Works operated out of Dunkirk and manufactured steam railroad locomotives and freight cars from 1869 until its merger into the American Locomotive Company, Elco, in 1901. As part of the lecture, Davis and Schulenberg will share details of the history of the Locomotive Works and its founder, Horatio Brooks, the former chief engineer of the New York and Erie Railroad. Let's see here. I'm just trying to get to the bottom of this. The presentation will take place after the Society's annual picnic. The picnic begins at 6 p.m. Again on Wednesday, August 21 at the Large Pavilion at Gratiot Park in Dunkirk. And it says here, we'd like to give special thanks to the City of Dunkirk for providing us with a wonderful venue so we can present the lecture in the hometown of Brooks Locomotive Works, and that's from Jason Sample. The event is free and open to the public, and attendees are asked to bring a dish to pass if possible. They'd like to know that you're coming ahead of time by August 16th. Give them a call at 326-2977 or go to cchs@mcclurgmuseum.org. And finally, the Chamber Golf Tournament, August 22nd. Some space remains for the 2019 Chautauqua County Chamber of Commerce Annual Golf Tournament. It will be held August 22nd at Peak and Peak in Clymer at the beautiful golf course up there. And if you are interested, give them a call at 366-6200 or 484-1101. That's all for announcements. We're going to do a public service announcement. Stick around. We'll be right back. I promise you it'll be a good show.
Na 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 na, I love you so. I love you, I love you. La 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 la, la 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 la.
We're here.
Yay!
It's a short drive from your neighborhood to your naturehood. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
For those of you who couldn't see what was going on in that ad, there was this a boy and a little girl. I think it was a girl, was it? I think it was. And she's just pestering the heck out of her brother in the car. Reminded me of me and my brother when we were kids. Holy mackerel. Okay. Well, folks, it's my pleasure to welcome back to the show our County Executive, George Borrello, who's going to talk about a myriad of things and things that I don't even know what we're going to talk about yet. But good morning, George, and thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Doc. Great to be back.
Absolutely. You are looking slimmer and trimmer every time I see you. You are killing me here.
I'm trying. I'm working hard at it.
I lose like 6 pounds and you lose like 40 pounds. It's like, wow, that's got to be a lot of work, though.
Well, it's a combination of trying to change my lifestyle and also all the activity getting around the county and the area. So.
George, I follow you on Facebook and the newspapers, and it seems like every day you're someplace like three different locations, and they're not next to each other, so you're zooming everywhere.
Well, first of all, I enjoy being out there. I enjoy interacting with people. I enjoy being at events, charity events, milestones that, to show people what a great place Chautauqua County is. So it's my pleasure to be out there. I enjoy it. And as we were talking before the show, I don't think anybody voted for me because they thought I was really good at signing my name. So sitting behind a desk and signing paperwork all day, although that has to be done, right. is not something I think that should the sole job of being the county executive.
Well, good on you, and thank you for your service to the county. Mm-hmm. And I think you and I are on the same page. It's a great county.
It absolutely is. You sit here and listen to the things that are going on, the events that are going on, even this, you're talking about the Infinity Group and, mm-hmm. and all these amazing and diverse opportunities there. We have Chautauqua Institution. We have what's going on with in Westfield right now mm-hmm. with the farmers market. I drove by on the way here. Oh my God! It's like they're setting up for a major event, which it is.
I had to leave early to get here so I could throw my big heavy music equipment. It's already set up in the gazebos. When I leave here, I truck down there and start playing.
It's fantastic. Yeah, it's just summertime especially makes us realize what a beautifully unique place that we live in and how lucky we are.
Well, and last week we had Rich Ryan here from the National Comedy Center, and folks, if that thing's blowing up. I mean, it's amazing what's going on, and you and I were talking about the economic drivers that it provides for the county. I mean, I don't think it's even close to being even 10% of what its capacity is. I mean, this is going to be big. It's going to grow and grow and grow.
Yeah, it's growing. It really is. Every time I turn around, they're being awarded something for being best new attraction, things like that, and the support of the of the entertainment community and the comedians, national comedians. I mean. Tonight I'm going to see Sebastian Maniscalco, and for those of you that don't know that, he is truly an A-list, very popular national act, international act. The fact that and that's consistently what the National Comedy Center does bring in, and the fact that we can bring entertainment like that to Jamestown, to Chautauqua County, is truly amazing. So I'm really impressed and pleased.
Excellent. Well, George, I asked you to come on the show for a specific reason, just to start things out. We can talk about other things as well. But one of the things was, I don't even remember, a couple months ago, we had a meeting, and it was a meeting of boards of hospitals and so forth. And as you know, I'm the chairman of the Westfield Memorial Hospital, and a number of us showed up for this meeting. And there was a concern that you and John Griffith presented to us. And I'm not going to try to retell the story, but after listening to it, I said to myself and others, I said, George and I need to talk about this. Not that we necessarily have an answer to the issue, but people to be aware of the issue and support solutions perhaps that'll help the problem.
Yes.
So I'll let you frame it.
Well, the purpose of that meeting was to discuss concerns that our local first responders and hospitals have with transports. Mm-hmm. And so people understand, we have ambulance services, we have volunteers, we have paid services, we have organizations, obviously that support all of that. But getting patients, you obviously have 911, right, where people have to be transported from the scene of wherever, whether it was the scene of an accident or, taken from their home because they had an emergency. and they have to be transported to the hospital. That's one form of transportation, emergency transportation. The other form is moving those folks from the care that they're receiving at an ER, for example, and to where they will need to go now.
Next level up.
Yes, exactly. And that's where we are seeing a backlog, essentially, is in the transports, in getting patients out of ERs, getting them out of hospitals, and getting them to the next level of care that they need, wherever that might be.
So, for example, any one of our great hospitals here in Chautauqua County, someone was taken there, heart attack.
Yes.
So they're taken there quickly, triaged, stabilized, but then the hospital may not have the ability to handle that situation because it's escalated to a much higher degree.
Correct.
So that's where you're talking about now, from there to the next hospital.
Right. Now, obviously, we have air ambulance, right? We have, Mercy Flight. We have,
if the weather's good.
Mercy Flight, Starflight, the Allegheny Health has that. So we have several options, but those are, for true, emergencies, and obviously they're expensive and require a lot of logistics. Most people are transported by ambulance from that next level of care. And that's where we're starting to see a backlog. And what happens is it's a domino effect. If you have your ER beds that are filled and you only have so much capacity in the ER to treat people, and you now have someone in an ER bed that needs to be transported, and now we could be talking hours before those people are able to be moved out of that ER bed, it creates a backlog in the emergency room. It makes it difficult for emergency room staff to manage everybody, and that's the situation we're trying to address.
So is it the situation there's nobody to transport?
Well, no. Yes, so there's a number of factors. Number one is we have a seasonal spike here in the summertime, with people that are here, summer residents, visitors, so forth. That tends to increase the strain on the system. We also have, and this is a nationwide problem, we have a shortage of people that are trained to be paramedics in particular, of course EMTs as well. It requires, without getting into a lot of technical detail, you've got something called ALS, Advanced Life Support, versus BLS, Basic Life Support, right? And different levels that are required, especially in New York State, for you to transport someone. So we have a shortage of people that are qualified and to do that.
All right, hold there. So if I'm hearing you right, you could have an ambulance ready to go, but you don't have the right staff to be in the ambulance.
That's correct. So
there's another issue.
Yes.
So you may not have the ambulance, or you may not have the right combination of staff.
Yes.
Okay.
And this speaks to, in general, the issue we have, with workforce development and the things I've been talking about for a long time as county executive. But we're trying to address this issue. The county has the fly car system. This is something that we started, back in 2018, and it is not a transport. It's not an ambulance service, but it is, paramedics and EMTs that go to the scene, of an accident, and we did that, an accident or whatever it might be, an emergency, I should say. And that has helped relieve some of the pressure on the system in general. By all accounts, the feedback we were receiving is fabulous. It's saving lives, but it is not transportation.
Okay.
And it is. And then, of course, now we're looking at what is the next thing that we need to address. Okay. And this idea of relieving the strain on the transports is the next thing that we need to address. The county, of course, we just recently purchased an ambulance, and this was for the purpose of us being able to do the proper billing for the services that we are providing. But it is only one ambulance, so we can't solve the problem by ourselves.
Now, who mans that?
That's part of our EMS service. John Griffith and his team. We have a full staff of folks that paramedics, EMTs. And so forth that handle that.
So a hospital could have a need, and they call them?
Well, that ambulance is there, and again, this is literally just starting now. It's there as a backup. It's not there as a primary. But,
okay, gotcha.
But again, through the 911 system, they determine who is going to be dispatched. So that's all taken care of. But we start talking about transports. So essentially non-emergency transports from hospitals to other facilities, nursing homes. People have to be transported from, to rehab facilities, all that stuff. That's where the strain on the system that we're trying to focus on. And it's always best to have, those that are involved in this in the private sector, people that specialize in this, as our first choice. And we have had some strains on that system here in Chautauqua County on the private sector end. So now I went to a meeting this week. Really can't talk any specifics.
Oh, yeah,
but
I respect that.
Yeah, I went to a meeting this week with myself and John Griffith, also Pierre Chagnon from our county legislature. The great partnership that we have with our legislature to address all issues, including this, so we can determine what our options are and who we can call upon to try and address this. And I've been a big proponent, as you know, on collaboration. And that's why we had that meeting. That's why we brought everybody to the table. And this is why we're now working together to try to address this situation. And I'm confident we will.
And that's why I asked you to be here.
But it is important for people to understand that it is a bottleneck. It is a strain on the system. It is not unique to Chautauqua County. We do have some unique challenges here in Chautauqua County. Geographically, we're very large. We have an aging population, which typically means more situations where people need medical care, and we also are considered a rural area. So reimbursements for those transports are different. So it's and again, I know I'm preaching to the choir with you being on the hospital board. You understand this.
No, please.
Please.
All right, now if you could have, I always put this out to people, a magic wand, what would it look like if it was a perfect system?
If it was a perfect system, number one, the requirements of New York State would be, I think, loosened so that we could have more people that would be eligible to do transports. I think number two, we would be to level the playing field when it comes to reimbursements. To me, it shouldn't matter if you're in a metropolitan area like Buffalo. A transport is a transport. You need the basic cost of having an ambulance and staffing it. There's really no, in my opinion, there's no substantive difference. Okay. So why are reimbursements so low, so much lower?
And they're not an incentive to a business to run a system.
Exactly. And so that's the magic wand solution, but we don't have a magic wand.
Sounds like also we need more paramedics.
We do, and that comes down to having people that have the desire to be in it.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, and also New York State continues to raise the bar on requirements, and I understand, from a safety standpoint, we want people to have the proper training and education, but I think the hurdles have become too high and unnecessarily bureaucratic. Okay. So that needs to be addressed.
So maybe there's a middle ground. Maybe there's a new position or something they could come up with.
Well, there's several things that we can do that need to be addressed. So, but they're not having the conversations in Albany right now that they need to be to address this issue.
Okay.
Yeah, surprise, surprise.
So for folks that are listening and watching right now, George, is there anything they can do to help the situation?
I think that awareness is always important. I think taking action in the sense of advocating for these things. People need to understand the cause and effect. So whether it's elected officials that or just going out and letting people know that this is something that is important to the community, we need to address it. That is a great way to help. Writing letters to whether it's leadership in Albany, the governor's office in particular, our state legislators. Letting them know this is a priority for the people here. Okay.
And also, if they are in a situation where they're being held up at a hospital, don't beat up the folks that are there. They're doing the best they can. It's a systemic problem.
Correct. There's nobody just sitting around in a hospital, twiddling their thumbs. Everybody's working hard, and they have to wait until that transport arrives. So they can move on to the next thing. It's an important issue, but we are addressing it. I feel we have a path right now to address this, to find a solution, and we'll continue to work on it.
All right, well, we're going to try to track that with you. All right, well, let's move on to some other things. One of the things that continues to baffle my mind, and I'm getting a handle on this to some degree as far as educating myself, is the whole opioid addiction issue. We sometimes think, it's going to go away. No, this thing's raging everywhere, and it's getting worse, it seems. So you told me something that Tom is involved with, Tom Tarpley, right?
Yes.
So can you talk about that?
Yeah, Tom Tarpley heads up something we call the Countywide Alliance for Enforcement and Rehabilitation, the CARE task task force. This is something, it was one of the first things I created as county executive. It's a task force that is made up from a broad range of stakeholders that are working on addiction issues, everything from law enforcement to those involved in medical treatment, rehabilitation and recovery. What I found was that these people and organizations were working in silos, so we got them all together to start sharing information and collaborating.
So for those that may not be familiar with the silo analogy, they're in their own little cubbies.
Yes.
They're in their own little worlds, and they're not talking, right?
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
And the very first meeting, and we split it up originally into 3 groups and then to 2 groups. The very first meeting, we started realizing that there just was not a lot of collaboration and communication, even with those folks that are working in the same area. The people that are working in treatment, the people that are working in whether it's emergency care that is involved with addiction, we're not having those type of communications that they needed to be. So we started seeing some positive effects really immediately. Now we've had some a little time under our belt. We made a great stride. Our 2 drug task forces are now working together for the first time in many years. That was something that was facilitated through the CARE task force.
Good.
We have seen an increase now in available beds for chemical dependency, with more to come. And I believe we've now got a system in place to have better communication. We saw for the first time in years, we saw a decrease in the amount of opioid-related deaths.
Thank goodness.
Yes. And a substantial decrease, I might add. We still haven't, not all cases are resolved yet, but you're looking at anywhere from a 20 to 50% decrease in 2018 over 2017. We're still looking at 19 numbers right now, but I believe we're going to hold steady. And I'm not saying that's all directly correlated with the CARE task force, but part of the task has been to get our arms around the true numbers. We have a great epidemiologist at the county, Brianne Agate. She has been very, very diligent on making sure we have good data to work with. Yeah. So you can't really address a problem unless you know where the data brings you to address it. So I'm very proud of this task force. I'm very proud of the fact that I believe that in Chautauqua County, although this is still a major issue, I feel like we're starting to get our arms around it now, and we're making good, positive progress.
And I want to do a statement here is that, I think sometimes people think opioids is an issue for big city life or whatever. This is, folks, is everywhere. It's in small towns, it's in your backyard, and you don't even know it. This is a very, I want to say insidious. I guess that's the word that comes to me. It creeps up on you, and you don't even realize that you're sucked into this opioid world. And once you're in it, it is not even close to being easy to get out of. This is a whole new world with this opioid addictions. And like I said, I've been doing some homework on this. And this isn't like just saying I'm not going to smoke anymore, or I'm going to stop drinking, which are all things that people are trying to do all the time. But this is far and away even more difficult than any of those other kinds of addictions. So I'm glad to see that that you're working towards that. I'm just reading a text that I just got here. Let me see what this says here real quick. I don't know what this means. CBD.
CBD oils?
Oh,
yeah, CBD
okay,
oils.
so
yes.
that's what I needed.
Yeah. So someone's asking about CBD oil.
Yes.
There are plenty of people out there who believe that CBD oil is beneficial. For those that don't know, it's an extract that's involved.
Cannabis?
With cannabis. It's legal in New York State, and several places carry it. You can. I'm sure you can find it today at the farmers market if you wanted to in Westfield. I think that there's not been enough empirical data to prove whether or not there are benefits. However, anecdotally, people say that that they have had issues. I know people that say they've had chronic rashes that have been cleared up with CBD oil. That is certainly something to address. Whether or not it can address an addiction issue, I don't know. Right. I can't say that. The bottom line is this: we know how difficult it is to get someone who's addicted permanently cured of that addiction. It's very, very difficult. The rate of recidivism is very high.
Right.
So really, the long-term solution is education and prevention.
Don't start to begin with.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, we have to focus on education and prevention, and I see positive things there. I see people, especially young people, that may have an injury of some kind, maybe have some surgery, and they are now are so educated and so understanding of the potential addiction with opioids. That they're saying, look, I'm not going to take that medication.
I hope so.
I'm gonna we're gonna take it. We're gonna take the extra strength Tylenol or whatever and tough it out.
Yeah.
I hear this.
I hear that from other people too.
Yeah, so that's the solution long term, is to get people off of it. And we were lied to for many years that opioids were not addictive, and now we have so many people that are addicted.
I think the key word, what you just said, we were lied to.
Yeah.
By the pharmaceuticals.
Absolutely.
And for whatever reason, when people took them, they thought it was a good. I remember people saying these are good medicines and they're good pain relievers and things like that. And here we are with people addicted everywhere.
Yeah, one of the worst things that happened, in my opinion, was the pain scale that you see at every hospital now. And
Oh yeah,
what's the
1 to
level
10
of pain?
little faces,
Yes.
yeah.
We focused on the doctors being focused mostly, almost entirely on managing pain. Well, managing pain meant prescribing opioids
Right,
and over-prescribing opioids.
big time.
And now we're in this situation now, where, and I think in the case of the medical professionals, it was well-meaning. We didn't
Absolutely.
we don't want people to be in pain,
Oh, no.
but now we are dealing with this crisis
Yeah.
across the nation, and we are now educated enough to understand what caused it, and hopefully now we can prevent it from happening further going forward.
Excellent. Folks, you're watching Chautauqua Sunrise. My guest today is County Executive George Burrell, and we're talking about various topics. So let's move on to my next favorite topic that you know is coming. George and I interviewed a couple of years ago when you were running for County Executive, and you talked about the Gateway Project, and we talked about Tamarack and all that sort of thing. I know that you got $50,000 to do a study, and I know that study's been in progress. So
Yes.
can you tell us, first of all, what do you mean by the Gateway Project, and where are we going so far?
So it has been my desire for a long time to improve what we see as you enter the Empire State, the state of New York, through I-90, coming from Pennsylvania into Chautauqua County and the rest of New York. What you have there now is an eyesore. It is dilapidated buildings.
Yep.
That's what people see when they enter New York State. So in my first year as county executive, I started talking about this. The governor has done these other welcome centers, if you will, and elsewhere. But to me, that's the wrong way to go. It's a static place that, quite frankly, doesn't get the traffic that they should. The one they spent.
Grand Island?
Yeah, the one in Grand Island.
Everybody goes to Grand Island.
Yeah, that's. And I'm not going to. I'm not here to bash the decisions that were made by others, but what I will say is that what we need to do now is to create something similar to Tamarack in West Virginia. Anybody that's been to
You hear dogs?
I heard a dog. Yes.
Okay.
Oh well.
We have a guest that's going to come out, or a guest in a minute. So
This is like one of those late night shows where you're going to come out and terrorize the guests with animals. So the Gateway Center project is to create a truly functional, self-sustaining commerce center right at the entrance of our state in Ripley.
Right.
And something similar to Tamarack in West Virginia may have been.
it's fabulous.
It's absolutely amazing. And what I've said to people is, you look at that place that has now become a destination. West Virginia used to be a place you drove through on your way to South Carolina or Florida or whatever. Now people plan their trips around stopping
loads
at
and bus loads. Yep.
Yeah, hundreds of thousands of visitors a year in a rural part of West Virginia that has now become a destination. We can do that here, and that's what this feasibility study is focused on, is creating a gateway center that features the best of Western New York, the best of Chautauqua County, and gives people the opportunity to stop, experience things there, and hopefully continue on through Chautauqua
Give
County.
maps
and the
of
southern,
what's going on in the area, and
all those
restaurants
things.
and hotels and things.
Continue on through Chautauqua County and the southern tier, up into Western New
Yeah,
York.
and couple that with the
areas.
National Comedy Center, with
Yes.
Chautauqua Institution, all the things are going up in Dunkirk, Silver Creek, all over, everywhere in the county. That was so cool.
When people think of New York State, they think of New York City, right? If you're from Texas or
I
California
get
or
that
wherever,
all the time, yeah.
How far are you from New York City? We want this Gateway Center to feature the rest of New York, the beautiful, diverse, and wonderful place that it is to visit and live. And that's what this Gateway Center is about.
The study's not done yet.
The study, we have a preliminary, we have our first draft, if you will,
Okay.
of the study, which is not yet public.
All right.
I will say that I'm encouraged by what I see.
Good.
And that we are going to move to the next steps. But I want us to lead this project here in Chautauqua County.
Mm-hmm.
But it's about all of Western New York and the Southern Tier.
Super.
And we've had great interest from folks in other counties, and it's something that if we have, I believe, the greater the need and the greater the impact, the more likely we'll be able to get funding.
Mm-hmm.
And it is obviously going to take a lot of money to create something of this magnitude, but it is going to benefit people across this region, and it's going to benefit the economy across this region. So I believe we can get many others to jump on board and support this effort and send that message loud and clear to New York State that this is something that is long overdue, and we will continue to push and to fight for this.
Excellent. And so just keep us posted, and we'll keep our eyes open in the newspapers or whatever, or send me a release, and
Yeah.
I'll be happy to share.
Thank you.
We
Thanks.
have a caller that's been waiting patiently along with. I've heard some barking in the background. So good morning, caller.
Well, good morning. This
Oh,
is
Linda.
Linda Spalding. Well, good morning.
There.
It's great to see you. It's great to see you on the show, George, and
Thanks,
hi,
Linda.
Doc. And I wanted to thank you for all the tremendous things you've done for our county.
Thank you.
Since you've been our county executive, we all appreciate your many efforts, and I just love the floating stage in Mayville.
Yeah, it's wonderful. I'm so glad to see that return to Chautauqua Lake and to our county. You know, we lost the floating stage for a year, and now it's back, and there's
Doing
a lot
good
of
things.
yeah.
See lots of advertising for it. That's cool.
Yeah, it's great. So it's very exciting. It's just one more facet. You know, it's one more jewel in the crown of Chautauqua County.
Absolutely. So Linda, what brings you to the phone today?
Well, of course, I'm calling for our senior employment. We're
All
always
right.
looking for referrals, and we refer people to jobs. And if businesses want a good, reliable person, they can contact our senior employment program. And I also wanted to thank you for highlighting our Lions Club
Oh, sure.
benefit spaghetti dinner. It's going to be at St. Mary's
That's right.
this Wednesday, which happens to be August 14th, I believe.
Yep.
And the posters say it starts at 5 o'clock, but it actually is going to start at 4:30. And we do this for the benefit of the people who work until 4:30 in the area, like the county
Similar
and the
hours,
town and
yeah.
so forth. So everybody will be ready at 4:30 when people are finished with their workday.
You heard it first right here on Chautauqua Sunrise. There
Get
you
your
go.
early bird special. Get in.
Right, early bird special, and takeouts are available. And of course, once again, the price is $8 for adults, which is very reasonable,
Very
and
reasonable.
$6 for children under 12.
Super.
And it's to benefit our Lions Club, which we do so many things in the community to benefit the sight and hearing impaired. You know, we test children at the schools, and we help people with the cost of their glasses and so on.
Excellent.
So,
Good work you guys do.
Yeah.
Very good. All right, Lynn. Well, have a great weekend, and
Well-
we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Have a wonderful weekend and week. Thank
Okay,
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, that was Linda Spalding for the Office for the Aging and her senior employment program, and they do good things there.
Yes, they do.
And, Jeff, let's pop up that phone number for them before we move on here for the Office for the Aging and the Work Employment. There you go, 753-4471, or they can go to Facebook looking for the Chautauqua County Office for the Aging, and you get all kinds of information there. If you're looking for employment, Linda is your person. All right, so we talked about that, and you said to me, let's talk about Project Grow. I don't know what that means.
Yes.
So,
Project Grow Chautauqua. This is something else I'm very focused on and very excited about. People are obviously concerned about our agriculture industry.
absolutely.
Our agriculture industry is suffering, whether it's grapes or dairy or the various other, farming.
Why is it suffering?
It's suffering for a number of reasons. Number one, market prices. Everything that is impacted. So much of agriculture is commodity based, and when you start talking about forces that are outside of the control of the hardworking people in agriculture, that is first and foremost market pricing for their products.
So somebody not around here is setting prices for milk
Yeah.
per pound and
Yes.
grapes per tonnage and things like that.
Yes, exactly. And it's driven by the market. It's impacted by things, like trade negotiations, tariffs, all those things that are out of the control of the people that are actually.
Let the record show, I don't talk politics here, and I didn't mention those two words. Continue.
But it's part and parcel of the issue, right?
Yeah.
So, I'm a business person. And first and foremost, I'm a business person. And typically when government gets involved with agriculture, it's to, pay a lot of lip service, to talk about subsidies and things like that. It's not about what can we do to help them strengthen their business.
So we'd rather pay you not to grow this stuff so that the problem goes away for the moment.
Well, yeah, and it's about the promise of, well, look, we're just going to prop you up for a little while,
Yeah.
and something's going to change, hopefully.
And
Project Grow Chautauqua was something that started with myself and then Senator Kathy Young.
Okay.
It's something I had talked about for a while. How can we help our agriculture industry diversify? And we have opportunity here in Chautauqua County to grow hops, to grow grains that we're currently not really growing. And there are some folks that are into these industries, into these crops, hops and grains. The problem is that if you're a hop grower currently, which can be done successfully here in Chautauqua County, it happens to grow in a very similar environment as grapes, which is beneficial for us. And our dairy farmers are already growing grains to feed their livestock. So the question is, if you're getting into a new market and you're getting into hops, for example, the challenge is you're not able to bring those products to market because there is no central facility for that right now. You have to negotiate directly with, say, a brewer or somebody else, and that particular brewer is going to have a hard time committing to you as a grower because it's very specific to the varietal, it's very specific to the quality. So if you're going to build a brand around a particular type of hop, for example, that's grown in a particular area which have unique properties to it, for a consistent quality of your whatever it is you're making, whatever beer you're making, committing to one grower is going to be a problem because if that grower has a problem with their hops, that could devastate your product line.
Yeah.
So the idea and the concept is to create a central repository, basically an agribusiness that is going to be vertically integrated so that growers can bring the product there.
So like a co-op.
Yeah, it's like a co-op, very much like a co-op, although sometimes co-op is a dirty word with farmers.
Okay.
So I don't want to quite necessarily say co-op, but in the same principle.
Same idea. People working together.
Yes, and bringing product that's, where they're being assisted in how to grow it properly through the business and with the assistance of Cornell Cooperative Extension and others, where we can create a consistent supply, quality, testing, processing, storage, then moving into this manufacturing section of it. So what we did was a gentleman who was originally started his career here in this area in Chautauqua County came back and he wanted to do something entrepreneurial, but that would also benefit our agriculture industry. So I made this pitch to him about a year ago, not quite a year ago, about this idea of creating this co-op, if you will, that would allow our farmers to get into diversified products. He took the ball and ran with it and did a real deep dive and came back and said, this is an amazingly feasible idea, but we need to now do a more in-depth study.
Okay.
So the study was going to cost $120,000. He, because he was so committed to this, committed $65,000 of his own money.
Oh, wow.
A gentleman by the name of Chris LaCarata, a very successful executive who had retired from the industry, the beverage industry and food industry. We then went out and raised the rest of the money.
Right.
$20,000 came from the county, from the county legislature. We had the Northern Chautauqua Community Foundation, the Chautauqua Region Community Foundation, and the Gebby Foundation, all donating money to support this $120,000
Okay,
study.
we're almost down like
Okay.
hardly
Oh boy,
time.
we're almost down to time.
So where are we at then?
Where we are is the study has now been completed, and August 21st at 5:30, you can come to the legislature chamber, and we're going to do a presentation on this, and I'm excited and thrilled that we're going to have a game-changing opportunity here with agriculture.
George, every time you're on the show, you lift my spirits, and you've done the same thing today with all the issues that we've talked about. It's a tough job, and we appreciate things. Anything you want to say before we wrap up?
Have a great summer, everybody, and thank you, Doc, for letting me come on.
Absolutely. And people, be safe out there. Use those little life jackets. We've had some issues here lately, so be safe. Have a great couple weeks. I'll see you at the end of the month. Next week we're pre-taped, so don't call in. And Randy will be in the chair 2 weeks from now. Take care, be safe, and enjoy everything about Chautauqua County. I'm Doc Hamels. See you next time. Thanks, George.
Oh, thank you. That was great. I wasn't even paying attention. I'm
go
sorry.
like-